All right. Happy 2022, y'all. We made it through 2021 and we are back for another Wellbeing Wednesday, our very first of the year. Super excited. I think we're going to have a really great talk today. So for those of you who have joined us in the past, welcome back. For those of you who this is your first Wellbeing Wednesday, welcome for the first time. This is the first episode of Wellbeing Wednesday of 2022. This is the monthly segment that shows childcare providers and caregivers like you simple ways to support your own well-being, because taking care of ourselves is, in fact, taking care of others. Remember that. Whether you're an early childhood educator, director, parent, or someone who just feels like a parent some days, like me, you're sure to pick up actionable tidbits of advice about how to support your overall well-being and get back to feeling like yourself. I'm your host, Susanna Creed. I'm one of the well-being coaches here with Be Well, Care Well, Arkansas. That is a Curricula Concepts program, and that is all about supporting the well-being of our early child care providers because they are so important. Each of you matter. We have Allison White joining us today, and we will get into a great conversation with her in just a moment here. You might be wondering, okay, well, January 1st of the year, what's the big old theme? Well, as they say, it's a new year, new you. And fitness and overall physical health tend to be at the top of everyone's list when it comes to New Year's resolutions. So we figured, wouldn't that be a perfect theme for January to just kind of roll into that and have that be our first theme for Wellbeing Wednesday? And also today, I think hopefully we are going to debunk a couple of myths. You know, fitness does not have to be boring, y'all. There's lots of ways to not only incorporate more physical activity into our day, but also to make it social and have it be a social event by bringing in our friends, our family, and even the kiddos that we work with. It does not have to take a ton of time. It can be very small things that can actually be fun. I'm excited to welcome our guest, like I said, Allison White. She's actually one of the newest members of our Be Well, Care Well team and Curricula Concepts team. She's one of our new wellbeing coaches here at Curricula Concepts. She is a registered dietitian and a certified personal trainer. So I'm really excited to get to chat with her about this topic today. Thank you, Allison, for being here. And thank you for being patient as I kind of introduce what today's theme is. And I kind of want to start with a question. You know, a lot of people tend to focus on their physical health and their physical fitness at the beginning of the year, and maybe working with the clients that you've worked with, and in your own personal experience, why do you think that is, like the first of the year? And that's like a lot of times what people focus on.
Yeah, so I love that question because I think we subconsciously do it, not even just at the first of the year, but anytime we're thinking about doing something new, we usually like do it the beginning of a week or the beginning of a month. It's like, oh, I'm going to wait until Monday. And so it's super interesting to think about why we might do that. But especially at the beginning of the year, just the timeline of, leaving the past year behind and starting a new one, just thinking of that fresh start. People are just much more motivated and devoted to not just health, but any goal that they have. And so I think for some, it's just another day, but for others, it's a little bit more convenient, or it helps them be more organized, kind of starting something like a health journey at the beginning of the year. So that's just my take on it, though.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And thank you for sharing that. I couldn't agree more. I've been on both sides of that. So sometimes I'm like, I can have a do-over or start, like if it's nutrition wise, it's like, oh, my very next meal, let me start. Maybe I ate too much for myself, not saying anybody else, but for myself, maybe I ate too much at breakfast and I just kind of felt lethargic. Sometimes I'll be like, well, you know what? I can start at my very next meal, which is lunch. But also sometimes it is really helpful to kind of just really have that momentum at the beginning of the year coming up behind you. And I'm so excited. I see some hellos real quick. I want to do some shout outs. We have Sarah Paul. We have Sarah Norwood. Hey, Miss Carolyn. We have Deanna Bradley, Miss Gail Slape. Awesome. Love seeing you all here. As we go throughout today, just so you all know, because you're here live in the comments, please feel free to share any questions, comments, or concerns you might have, and then we can work to answer them towards the end. So anything that you want to share, we want this to be dynamic and we love it. So please feel free to share those. And I'm wondering too, a lot of times we think fitness, right? That means I have to already be super slim and super toned, or I have to get a gym membership, which maybe is or isn't in my budget.
Oh, I love that.
Right? We just kind of build it up in our heads, of like this big thing that it's got to be, or like, I've got to go for an hour and a half, 3 times a week, and I have to start that now, otherwise I'm failing. And so I'm hoping maybe you and I can kind of talk through and kind of demystify that. I know a lot of us are crammed for time. A lot of us have families, like we ain't got time for that, but we also really do want to value our health. Based on, again, your experience personally or with your clients, what do you think are some ways that super busy people can still find ways to start to take care of their physical health? What are some little things that either you've seen or ideas you have? I'd love to hear some of those.
Well, first, I want to share a quote that I'm sure we have all heard and are tired of hearing, is that we all have the same 24 hours. No, you can't tell me that, as you said, a mother of 3, 4, 5 children who might be working 2 full-time jobs has the same time. She has no excuse not to go to the gym for 2 hours every day. That, I think you can see the blood boiling up inside of me. We do not all have the same 24 hours. So I hope that there is not anyone out there feeling like, if they are thinking about starting a fitness journey, that they need to go check out a gym, that they need to go do hours and hours of running or weightlifting. So let me just throw that out there. That is wrong. That is wrong. That is a total myth. And so to answer Susanna's question on what you can do is really anything. So when you think of fitness, you might think of the gym, weights, treadmill, running, but you don't think of cleaning, sweeping, dusting, walking
Vacuuming.
around, vacuuming.
Vacuuming is hard work, y'all, especially like if you have one that is corded or if you have one that like drags behind you, like you are doing weights. Let me tell you, I'm sore from vacuuming, which is kind of sad for myself, but like it's a real thing. It's a real thing, y'all. So it's like, I love that you're bringing
laundry,
that up.
trying to get all of your, I'm one of those people that like to not leave anything behind. Same with groceries. I get all the bags on my arms. I do one trip. That is a workout, and I live upstairs.
Yeah, I was like, I see, and there's that approach, right? Where it's like, okay, maybe let me see how many of these groceries I can get in one go and go up and unload them. Like that is being maybe more physically active. Or if you're like me, like I have tiny little T-Rex arms and it's really hard for me. And I'm just like, the way I'm proportioned, it's hard for me to carry so many bags, but instead I kind of get my workout. And again, it's just a mindset shift where I'll maybe take 2 bags on either arm. And so I'm still kind of balancing, but then I'm walking up my 3 flights of stairs each time. So I'm going, okay, up 1, putting it down, coming back down, doing another set of stairs, grabbing 2 more bags, coming upstairs. So it's like that, even in and of itself, can be being more physically active if that's not how you were approaching it, or maybe just thinking about it that way even can change it.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, any type of movement. I mean, when you're playing with the kiddos at work, when you're taking out the trash, when you're even walking from the parking lot to the front door. And as me and Susanna were just talking about grocery shopping, take your time, maybe park further away in the parking lot to just increase your steps a little bit. You can even do that at work as well. Instead of, I know I can be this way too, where I want that first front parking spot right in front of the door. But just tack on another 20 seconds of, I mean, maybe not even 20 seconds, 10 seconds of just parking a little bit further away to increase your steps. If you're on a phone call or have a meeting, if you're able to walk while you're doing that or during your lunch, it's honestly much better for you to be kind of walking and doing something rather than like sitting or laying down as you're eating, to kind of help your body digest that. So, I mean, do not feel like you have to sit and consistently do like 20, 30 minutes of something at a time. It can be 30 seconds, 2 minutes of just movement. And so anything that you find enjoyable is also number one. Don't do anything that you couldn't see yourself consistently and like sustainably doing. So I hope that answered your
Yeah,
question.
absolutely. Oh, and I was trying to figure out how to do this thing. Y'all know who have been with me. I still try to do some of this tech stuff. So for those of you who are watching, if you can, I just put a poll there to ask, what is your favorite household workout of choice? Is it decluttering? Is it vacuuming? Is it unloading the groceries or walking while you're on the phone? I know one of the things that I really love is walking on the phone. If I'm not careful, I didn't even know this, but I pace a lot when I'm on the phone. And so if I'm in too small of a place, I won't realize it that I'm walking in really tight circles. And then I get like kind of lightheaded because I'm like, oh, I've literally been walking around in circles. So, I love that you're talking about household things. It's like you get a 2-for-1 where it's like, okay, I know I have to go to the grocery store. I know I have to get groceries. Maybe you're really interested in, healthy eating as well. Well, there you go. You have to get your groceries, and then you can view taking the stairs as part of being more physically active, and actually the car one where you park at the end of the parking lot, as opposed to, the very closest spot when you're going to the mall or when you're going to work, it's a really easy way just to increase those steps by a little bit. And if it feels almost too easy, that's probably a good thing. It doesn't have to be this major challenge, because a lot of times with those challenges, we start it and then we end up biting off more than we can chew. And then we feel like we failed because we don't continuously do it. And then we're like, oh, we did it again. But if you start small, again, it's almost so small that it's like, this is stupid easy. Then you can continuously do it because you're like, yeah, of course I can park 2 spots away whenever I'm someplace. Well, maybe after, 3 weeks of doing that, maybe you're like, you know what, I'm going to park 4 spots away now. Or maybe in a month, you're like, you know what, I'm going to take a walk around the building during lunch. It's these little tiny things that will snowball. And a lot of times we don't see it, advertised, and we also don't see it as options in our own lives. But I will tell you, like, one of the programs that I work with, they started at the end of their lunch, or right before lunch, they would all just take a walk around the building. And it's been amazing. Like, their building's not huge, but they would take a walk around the building, and they ended up telling me how much they all look forward to it. They get outside, and they actually ended up walking with somebody from like one of their coworkers, and they would walk with somebody who they maybe hadn't been talking to normally. So they were actually getting to know their coworkers a little bit better. And now some of the people are saying, yeah, I'm walking more at home too, or I'm taking a walk before I get home so that I can kind of de-stress and end my work day before I go in and like rage with my family. Let's be real, we're humans and it happens. And somebody else was like, it's really shown me how physical activity is important. So they were looking into a gym, again, a personal choice. But it all started from this one really small thing, So I think that those are awesome. Oh, I'm going to show the results. Okay, so we got a couple of votes going into our household workout of choice. We have walking on the phone is winning by far, and then vacuuming is a close second. I love it.
I didn't realize so many people loved vacuuming. I gotta admit, I'm not one of those people.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've got to go to the comments for a second. One person said, listen, getting 3 kids buckled into the car is a full cardio workout. True. Count
Agreed.
that. Up and down the stairs when I'm talking on the phone. Oh, that's an even better one.
Right.
I don't know. I have a lot of like tight turns in what is it called, in my house. So I feel like I could either get more dizzy or less dizzy. I'm not really sure.
And it also depends on the conversation too. When you're having a heated conversation on the phone, your pace starts getting a little quicker, doesn't it? You just
But
start walking a little bit faster, you're breathing harder, and you're getting your workout in with that.
exactly. But one of the things that actually I thought about, that might actually be a really good way to approach a conversation that maybe we're not looking forward to, or we know that like we all have that family member or that friend where you're like, okay, I really got to psych myself up because they're probably going to do something that's going to press my buttons. Maybe that is the call that you go up and down the stairs, because one, you're physically getting any of that, irritated energy out as you're going. Also, you're probably going to be breathing heavier, which means you're probably going to have to pause a little bit more before you speak.
Yes.
And
you're
you
not
might
going to have
enough
as much energy. Yeah.
Exactly. So actually, I'm going to try that. I'm 100% going to try that, y'all. I'm going to be not just pacing when I'm on the phone with a family member who might piss me off. I'm going to actively be going up and down the stairs, because also I won't have enough air in my lungs to be able to yell at them. So I feel like it's really going to be a win-win. Plus, I'm probably going to be sore the next day from like all going up and down the stairs. I'm going to feel real good. Who needs a stair stepper? I have my stairs. Oh my gosh, I love this in the comments. Someone said they tend to clean when they're mad. Some people call it rage cleaning, but it usually both lowers their blood pressure and works a bit of a sweat and a cleaner house. Ooh,
see,
yes,
I call myself a
Tia.
stress cleaner. When I'm very overwhelmed, I won't touch one thing on my to-do list, and I will deep clean my entire apartment. I will avoid. And then at the end, I realize how overwhelmed I am because I did not get anything that I needed to get done. But hey, my living space is so clean and organized, and it feels so good. I love that.
You also get some of that energy out, and you get some physical activity. So again, it's kind of interesting. And I want to point out, this theme today is fitness. Like Allison's a personal trainer, registered dietitian. I did personal training in another life as well. But you hear what we're talking about. We're talking about how to work up a sweat, how to protect and maintain our emotional integrity and our emotional balance by stress relief, but also how to do it in a way that physically helps us. So it's not just a one size fits all, and it's not just, a one-way street. She's coming in here and she's not like, all right, this is how you do lunges and given she could probably, teach that up the wazoo. And if you want, I'm sure you can reach out to her and she'll tell you. But like, that's not what's coming to mind here, because this is really real life fitness stuff. We have a household workout poll going on right now. So, and I'm trying to get better at time. I'm usually doing pretty well. We have about 10 minutes left. And I do just want to let everybody know who's viewing, if you have any, fitness related questions, maybe you or someone in your family has experienced kind of a challenge with keeping up with their fitness goals, or maybe you're just like, this is my situation and I'm not sure where to start, please feel free to put those in the comments, and I'll kind of be monitoring that. And as we get questions, I'll make sure to ask Allison and we can kind of talk them through here. So definitely don't pass up on this opportunity. If you do have questions about lunges, now is also the time to ask for sure. But yeah, anyways, I've been talking too long. You are our guest. I want to hear from you.
No, you're okay.
So outside of the household workouts, maybe what are some other ways that we can incorporate more physical activity, focus on our physical health, but in a way that's doable and maybe even fun? Like sometimes it's easier with like a fitness friend. And because then it's like, if you and I are going to the gym, or you and I are going to a Zumba class because we both love dancing, I don't want to go one day, I might be like, okay, well, I have to let Allison know. And then you might be like, oh no, I'm amped to go that day. And that might motivate me. And then I end up going and I'm like, oh, I feel so much better, but it's easier to do with a person. So I wonder what ideas do you have, or what things have you seen to kind of bring in this social component of fitness?
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned having like an accountability partner, because it does bring more responsibility responsibility to ourselves when we know there's someone else who might be depending on us. And it's just nice to, not be alone in any kind of journey or change, because change can be hard. And so it's nice to just be able to share that with someone. What I really like, I'm an outdoorsy person.
Mm-hmm.
One of my, it happened to be my mom's New Year's resolutions a couple years ago was hiking a different place each month. And it got
Oh.
me so pulled. And that's something that we ended up doing together. And so not only was she crushing her goal, she got me into, more motivated to do it. We got our exercise in, and we got to see some beautiful places in Arkansas that we might not would have done before. And so anything, I know it's getting colder, which I've also heard some people enjoy running and walking when it's cooler outside. So if that's you, I admire you. And but that is something that you can do, is taking a walk on a trail. You don't have to do some vigorous hike, or just walking around in the neighborhood if it's a safe neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that with friends. You can do that with coworkers. As Susanna said, one of her programs are doing it at their work, walking around their building. I remember during our first training day, that's something that all of us newbies did as well. And as
Mm-hmm.
Susanna said, we just paired up and ended up just talking and having conversations, which might not would have happened otherwise. And so it's definitely a team building thing to do. And then outside, I mean, you can do this inside or outside, but I like to dance. So I like dance parties, as cheesy as it is. It's just fun, it's youthful, and you can definitely burn a lot of energy getting into it, throwing on some of those throwback
Mm-hmm.
songs and just jamming out. And I mean, you can even do it when you're cleaning, but if you want to do it while you're not, I mean, of course, that's more fun too. And so those are just a couple of things. And you can do that at work as well with kiddos, um, outside or inside. So those are just some couple other ideas that came to mind.
I love it. And I wish it wasn't upstairs. So I don't know if anybody has done bullet journaling, but it's like kind of art and planning and journaling all in one. But one of the things with it that I ended up doing was my boyfriend and I also were doing hiking. Like we wanted to do at least 2 new hikes this year because we had other things that we were also doing in our goals. But I ended up, because I had a blank page, I was like, all right, what trails have we done, this year? And actually I found out we did a lot, and that was fun. Like
Mm-hmm.
me going on a hike by myself, unless it's like the hard side of Pinnacle, I won't really want to do it. I kind of have to go with somebody else. But for example, you could be this friend who does this, because my friend did this for me. She said it was this weekend, the very first really cold winter weekend.
Yeah.
And she reached out to us and said, hey, would anybody like to go on a hike? If the weather cooperates. And it was Sunday and it was cold. And she asked the group again. And I had said the day before that I might be willing to go if the weather was okay. Well, it wasn't raining anymore. And I was like, oh, I really don't want to, but I said I would. And I ended up going. And I mean, it was cold. We were walking maybe 30 minutes, but it got me to see 2 of my friends outdoors where it was safe and everything. And I haven't seen them in weeks. And it got me out, and I felt so much better for having done it afterwards. But I would not have done that on my own. It took one of my friends to invite me to, actually get me to do this. So if a friend reaches out to you, maybe they're looking for somebody to help motivate them, or you can be that person and say, hey, why don't we take a walk, at lunch? And I think, Allison, you might have mentioned the example of, maybe you go to another teacher and say, hey, I know it's really cold, but the kids have been kind of dragging today. Why don't we take a quick walk outside around the block together with our classes? And that might be helpful for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So it can be really fun. It can have a lot of these different social elements. And I think sometimes I feel like we're bothering people when we say, hey, do you want to go do this thing with me? But really, maybe that's the motivation that they need themselves,
Right.
and then recognizing that when other people reach out to us, maybe it's not just about us. Maybe it's actually, this is them trying to get their fitness goals in. So it's a way to, I know with caregiving, we like to take care of others. So maybe this is a positive way and say, hey, if someone's reaching out to me about this, maybe I can be of service and help them by saying, yeah, why not? Or, hey, I can do this, but only for this time, making sure to respect our own boundaries and our own time.
Yeah.
But hopefully today we've gotten, just a couple of good, useful tips to figure out how can we incorporate some fitness, how can we feel good about ourselves, how can we feel good, about our own health and well-being as we start off this new year, 2022, all of those things. And if anybody is interested in learning more about Be Well, Care Well, or has questions for me, my email is in the chat box. And Allison, are you okay with me sharing your email as well?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Allison's email, I think I got that right. Feel free to correct me, Allison, if I somehow mistyped it.
Okay.
But we don't have any questions in the chat right now, which I guess means we did a good job. High five. So we'll wrap up. Thank you, Allison, for joining us today and just for having this conversation, being your authentic self and sharing some small, fun ways to start moving more for all of us. So really appreciate your time on that.
Thank you for letting me join. And I wish I could be seeing all the faces and names that were with us today, but I'll have to go back and say hi to everyone. But thank you all for listening to me. I'm sure I rambled on a couple things, but
oh girl, that's what this space is for me. It's where I can just ramble on, and some people actually will watch that. And hey, it's great if someone can get something out of it. That's the important part, So it's been a blast for sure. So as we wrap up today, I do want to give a special shout out to our partners at University of Arkansas's Early Care and Education Projects. They are the ones who started us off with Be Well, Care Well and helped to bring it to Arkansas, and by default have also helped bring Wellbeing Wednesday to you all watching. Please make sure to follow Curricula Concepts on Facebook and Instagram. We also have a YouTube channel, all of it just Curricula Concepts. And that way you won't miss a thing. You can also watch over this recording. You can make sure to share today's show if you enjoyed it, share it with friends, family, coworkers, your dog, send it through carrier pigeon, get creative, whatever floats your boat. And if you are a child care provider and want to learn more about enrolling in Be Well, Care Well, you can visit the website that's shared in the comments below, curriculaconcepts.com/Be Well, Care Well. It's all listed out there. And again, just thank you for being here with us today. This has been another wonderful Wellbeing Wednesday, first of 2022. I'm your host, Susanna Creed, and I'm wishing you well. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.